let's raise the big question there. Is the adulteration widespread as is being suggested, or is this a one-off? Is politics being played over a sensitive issue of faith? Is this ultimately about the fight for control of some of India's richest temples? These are some of the questions I'm going to raise today. On the show tonight, T.S. Sudhir, political analyst who's tracked Andhra and Telangana politics for years. Professor Jyotsna is with the Telugu Desam Party and she is their spokesperson. And Konda Rajiv Gandhi is with the YSRCP. Thank you all very much for joining us. I want to come to you first, Konda Rajiv Gandhi, because what is being alleged is extremely serious. The allegation that the TDP says is they collected a ghee sample provided by the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, which manages the temple, and they saw in the lab report presence of foreign fats including pig fat, beef fat and fish oil in the ghee supplied. Your response, how does the YSRCP explain this lab report?
Sir, firstly, a warm good evening to you and the panelists and the viewers of India Today. Well, Rajdeep sir, before representing as a party official spokesman, I have a responsibility as a citizen, as a Hindu, to speak on this particular issue. There are many queries in each and every one regarding this issue, particularly what did they test it? Because at least through your voice, we came to a clarification that yes, they are saying that they tested a ghee, not a laddu, number one point. And that ghee was from a contractor where he was changed. And before that, Nandini dairy ghee used to be utilized in Tirumala. But the thing is, when the
ghee was used to prepare the laddu. Let me clarify. This ghee which was tested was used in the preparation of the laddu.
No, sir. No, actually, it is not the fact. The fact is, either it may be ghee or any other product which will be used for the preparation of either prasadam or naivedyam or annadanam. Before going into the kitchen of the Devasthanam, there will be a testing process for 3 steps. If any such product, or if only it passes the 3 tests which will be conducted by TTD, then only they will allow that particular product into the preparation of this so-called prasadam, naivedyam and annadanam. But if such any product fails, they definitely rejects and they'll take the report on that. In such manner, previously in the past tenure of 1924 or before that also, there are many such situations where the products were failed in the test and they were rejected. And this is
So explain to me the lab report. Explain to me the lab report that has been done by the National Dairy Development Board. The Center for Analysis for Learning in Livestock and Food at NDDB has done the report which suggests this adulteration. Explain that. That is the hub of the issue.
Yes, explaining means this is $1 million question, and the God Lord Venkateswara should explain us. Why? Because we are having 3 questions regarding this report. When did they tested the sample? And what did they tested? And when the result came? And when the result was exposed to the public or the media? And why is the gap between the result coming and the result exposing? And what the gap in between time has held for? Is it held for any conspiracy or any alterations in the report? This adulteration and alterations were in the ghee or in the report? This is $1 million question.
Are you saying the report was altered? You're making a very serious charge. Are you claiming this report was altered?
There is a doubt about the alteration even in the report. My allegation may be serious, but it is very low when compared to the allegations of Chandrababu Naidu. How would you can allegate simply?
Okay, I'll come. One minute, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. Let's come question by question. The first issue that you have raised, and I want Professor Jyotsna to report to this. Professor Jyotsna Tinuragi, the question that is being raised is that this was a report. The lab report is dated July 16th. Sample receipt date was July 9th. We are now in September. That is August and September, we didn't hear anything. Suddenly the Telugu Desam, as its 100 days coming, 100 days you celebrated of your government, you now release the report. Why didn't you release the report earlier? What was the government doing for the last 8 weeks?
Sir, Rajdeep sir, good evening to my co-panelists, you and the audience. Rajdeep sir, here the point is couple of questions that have been raised by Rajiv ji now and also raised by you. You are saying yes, the lab report was of July and now you are exposing it in September. Sir, basically, why did this testing happen? Because earlier Konda Rajiv gave a statement saying that it was not used at all. That's the explanation by them. So, but what was happening was for the past 2.5 to 3 years, continuously there were complaints on Laddu Prasadam that was served in Tirumala Shrine constantly, So when our party came into power, the first dialogue, the first statement of the Honorable Chief Minister Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu was, there have been a lot of misdeeds that have been committed by the ex-Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy. So the process of cleansing will start from Tirumala. So immediately later in that month, what happened was a vigilance inquiry was conducted in different parts of Tirumala, sir. Not just the laddu or not just the ingredients or not just the other things. All the different parts of Tirumala, vigilance inquiries happened. During the course of vigilance inquiries, the Honorable EO, he just gave a press statement also, because they didn't understand the concept of how come a supplier is giving pure cow ghee at such a low rate. What is wrong with this? Because the pilgrims also complaining that the prasadam quality is not good. Then
no,
when
but
they
why
found out,
you're not answering my question? Why did you take 8 weeks to release the report?
No, sir. Sir, I'm coming. I'm just explaining
Right.
how it has happened. Now, after this, immediately, once they have these reports in hand, sir, immediately that particular stock and that particular supplier was blacklisted and the stock was seized, sir. Immediately it was done. Then what they have done is, because it's a third party NDDB that has done it, then they also had followed the relevant procedures they have in TTD, sir. See, it is not the government which has done it, it is the TTD which has done it, sir. Vigilance inquiries of TTD. So subsequently, several other inquiries also happened. And when the thing was that it has to be informed and the government got to know about it, that's when, and also it involves a lot of sentiment issue, Rajdeep, sir. You also know it. It's about the crores of devotees across the world. It's just not about Andhra Pradesh or even India. Across the world, we are talking about crores of devotees. So Chandrababu Naidu Garu said that there is an thing that this might have happened because we have a solid evidence for that. Later on,
go ahead.
Later on, we exposed the evidence also, and now when we come to the evidence, sir, my question is my concern. I can't even call it a question, sir. My concern is, today the ex-chief minister conducted a press meet, sir. In the press meet, he didn't even quote about this report. Absolutely, he didn't even quote about this report. The report which claims about the why the S values were deviating and what does the deviation in the S values mean. He didn't even quote about it. And he also said that still is continuing, which is wrong, sir. The day it was identified, immediately the stock was seized and that particular
so let's try and I've heard both your initial remarks.
Yes.
What is very clear, T.S. Sudhir, is that this laboratory report, which is based on tests conducted in July, now released in September, has clearly, in a way, cast a huge amount of doubt over what was happening in the at Tirupati and cast huge questions over the supervision by the Tirumala board itself. And the board, for our viewers, we must make it very clear, consists of representatives across parties, across states, and there are 24 members. Therefore, Sudhir, is the real question to be asked over the Devasthanam board and the manner in which they were supervising possible failure to ensure that pure ghee was used in these laddus. Should the blame lie at their door? How do you explain the lab report?
See, basically, Rajdeep, of course, this is not just a laddu. There's a lot of sanctity associated with the Tirumala Tirupati laddu. And obviously, that's why it has upset a whole lot of people ever since this news broke from Chandrababu Naidu himself. Yes, the buck obviously has to stop at the previous TTD board, whether there was some kind of negligence or whether there was some kind of a malafide intention. They will need to explain that once the lab report has come out and whether any kind of further inquiry is ordered. Now, the whole problem also lies in the entire tendering process itself, because I am told that close to 30 liters of milk is required to prepare 1 kg of ghee. Now 30 liters of milk into about 60 rupees per liter comes to about 1800, but you are getting supply of ghee between 320 and 411 rupees. And one of the firms which was blacklisted after their tanker was found to contain samples which were not really in the perfect condition, adulterated, that was supplying at 320. So obviously, as Professor Josna said, how are they actually providing it at 320 when the cost of production is going to be much, much more? That's where the question comes, whether low quality product was being supplied to Tirumala because the cost was much less. So there is a problem with the tendering process itself. Now, you asked Professor Uchna about why this time delay. Now, what I am told by my sources in the TDP is that the Chief Minister was mulling over whether the kind of impact this kind of a news would have should he break it, and which is why this entire delay about releasing it to the public and how and when he should actually do it. But
do you see any significance in the timing? Do you see any significance in the fact that it's been released around the 100-day mark of the TDP government?
Well, I mean, he was talking, which is why he kind of, explained that, this is what has happened in Tirumala, and definitely the TDP government had said that cleanup of Tirumala will be one of its top priorities, which also explains the appointment of someone like Shamal Rao as the executive officer at Tirumala Tirupati board. The board has still not been constituted, and that's a big thing because, as you said, there are representatives cutting across political lines from different states, and there's a lot of push and pull and clamor to get a post on that position on that TTD board. It is something which most people want to get. So in that sense, TTD, Tirumala, there's a lot of sensitivity and sanctity associated with it. And the sooner we get to the bottom of this, whether that ghee was indeed used to prepare any laddus, what we are told is that it was stopped at the tanker stage. But the fact that laddus have been, how long, whether there was some kind of a testing at regular intervals to check the purity of the laddu, the weight of the laddu, which has to be perfectly 175 grams, whether all that was done over the last 5 years, only a full-fledged inquiry would reveal that.
So essentially, the TTD board itself is under the scanner. The tendering process that Sudhir spoke about is under the scanner because Konda Rajiv Gandhi, the fact is, a blacklisted contractor is from whom you procure the cow ghee at rupees 320. Now the same trust is procuring it at rupees 475 per kg from the Karnataka Milk Federation, which reportedly has a much better track record. You all did not use them. You chose to use a blacklisted contractor. All of this is raising the suspicion that the entire TTD board during the YSRCP years did not have the procedures in place to ensure proper monitoring. As Sudhir says, as everyone is now saying, this involved the sensitivities of people. If this lab report is true, there are people who are going to say that you have desecrated our faith, defiled our faith. Tirupati has lakhs of devotees.
Rajdeep sir, my point towards your question is, definitely what you said, some Nandini dairy farm or something, or it's Karnataka Milk Federation, which was in a very better quality. So if such better quality if it is, why did Chandrababu Naidu, who's the then chief minister, why didn't he procure ghee from such KMF from the years of 2015 to 18? Probably 2015 to 2018 October. See, this is an open tendering process where the tendering process will took over for every 6 months. And moreover, every single tanker, I'm again quoting my line, every single tanker sample will be taken and tested only after the passing the particular test, after the completion of inspection only, it will be allowed. If not, it will be rejected. So first, before...
So how do you explain this lab report? Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, how do you explain this particular lab report if you are saying that all the products were being carefully tested? Either the testing system is flawed or the lab report has been fudged. And it's unlikely that a lab report of an organization linked to NDDB would be fudged in this manner.
Rajdeep sir, please take a note on my point once. This is my sincere request. There, our government handed over charge on June 4th. Chandrababu Naidu is a man of conspiracy in politics. He is the king of diversion politics. His government was failed in the last 100 days. They failed in controlling floods, failed in saving flood victims, failed in saving Vizag steel plant. So he just wanted to divert this, and he brought this matter into the public now. Clearly, we are having a clear doubt not only on the report, but we are having a clear doubt whether the ingredients which were tested may be altered before testing by this Chandrababu Naidu conspiracy government only to degrade the Jagan Mohan Reddy's fame, and they want to create an impact in the public that Jagan Mohan Reddy is an anti-Hindu. They're playing such crooked and crucial politics in the name of the God, which is very unfortunate. So that we are, to prove our fairness, we are demanding, come on, you keep an inquiry with a sitting judge. We are ready to face it. Otherwise, we demand a CBI inquiry. We're ready to face that. Moreover, coming to the inquiries or politics is a different matter. But here, Hinduism, the spirituality, the religion, we all have a belief on Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Srivaru, because I'm also a big devotee for that particular God. He's like, in Telugu, we call as Inti Ilavelpu. So our previous chairman, Subba Reddy Garu, openly challenged that he, along with his family, will come to Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, and they will promise in front of the God, in the name of the God, that no kind of such alterations done in Laddu
So
preparation.
you are ready for an inquiry, a judicial inquiry to be carried out under a High Court judge. Professor Jyotsna, you're hearing the YSRCP. I also saw Jagan Mohan. Just a minute, sir. I saw Jagan Mohan Reddy. Yes, go ahead.
One last point. I request you, I urge you. One last point.
Yes.
We, Subba Reddy Garu openly challenged Chandrababu Naidu also to come along with his family to Tirumala and to take a oath that such kind of alterations were not done in his time. So if Chandrababu is ready, let us first ask him to take the open challenge. Ask him to come to Tirumala to take the oath. Subba Reddy will come. If not, we are ready for CBI inquiry or judicial inquiry. Anything is there.
Okay. You are ready for a CBI. Okay, sir. You've made your point. You're ready for a CBI or judicial inquiry. Professor Jyotsna, one of the serious charges, and I heard even Jagan Mohan's press conference, is that the report has been altered. But B, what is being suggested today by Konda Rajiv Gandhi, that all of this is being used to portray Jagan Mohan Reddy in some form as anti-Hindu. That's a very serious charge being made, that the entire effort is somewhere to bracket the previous government as anti-Hindu.
Rajdeep sir, we don't have to, separately portray him or newly portray him as anti-Hindu. Sir, he is an anti-Hindu. His anti-Hindu agenda
please take your words back.
Evident.
Please take your back. Jyotsna, such an intellectual person like you shouldn't
spoke,
say that.
I didn't talk.
Okay, well,
Rajdeep,
let her finish. Konda, let her finish. Let her finish.
I didn't talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Kindly. Sir, why am I telling you this is, Rajdeep, sir? For the past 5 years, when Jagan Mohan Reddy ji was in regime, during his regime, several attacks on Hindu temples happened. No action taken. And in fact, Ramatirtham, the most revered Sri Ram statue, was in fact, the head was desecrated. No action taken. Antarvedi, a chariot of the god, was burnt. No action taken. Thousands of priests attacked in the state. No action taken. Some acres, hundreds of acres of temple lands completely, taken away by YSRCP people. No action taken. Sir, conversions we have seen. No action taken. Sir, above all, he's talking about Y.V. Subba Reddy ji. Sir, Y.V. Subba Reddy Garu was the TTD board chairperson, and after him, Bhumana Karunakar Reddy was the TTD board chairperson. And sir, let me put it, and it's a very valid point, Rajdeep sir. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu is a Christian. He never gave a declaration whenever he came to Tirumala, sir. Why didn't the chairpersons then ask him for the declaration? And this is not first time that they have, done some mischief with Tirumala, sir. It is not first time, and it is not an isolated incident in Tirumala. Several times we have.
I'm going to stop you for a moment because, as I said, a lot of sensitivity is involved. You're claiming that the previous government did not appreciate the sensitivities of Hindus. You portrayed, in your view, Jagan Mohan Reddy as anti-Hindu. T.S. Sudhir, this is the worry. There are two narratives being played. One suggesting that this is the right moment for governments to stop taking over temple trusts, many of them very rich. I've put out some of the figures of the Tirumala temple, that the government should have nothing to do with it. And this parallel narrative of portraying the previous government as anti-Hindu. Is your fear that therefore religious sentiments mixed with politics are creating now a deadly cocktail mix? And is there a possibility of just pulling some of these trust boards out of government control, that government cannot appoint the members in any way?
Well, who will bell the cat? I don't think any government, including the Andhra Pradesh government, or of any political party, be it the YSRCP or the Telugu Desam, is going to give up control of the TTD, given the kind of riches it has at its disposal. So that's not likely to happen. Talking about, whether this was some kind of a diversionary tactic, as Rajiv Gandhi was pointing out, on part of Chandrababu Naidu. Now, I know it for a fact that Chandrababu Naidu, who in fact hails from Chittoor district, where the Tirumala Tirupati shrine is there, is a devout Hindu, and I wouldn't know whether he would really use the Tirumala temple to create some kind of a false narrative. Some kind of a mistake may have happened. I use the word may have happened. Whether that particular firm was blacklisted, was told not to kind of supply any more ghee to the temple.
Mistake or malified?
That is what has to be established, Rajdeep. And
what's
moreover,
your sense? What's your sense?
The,
given the huge sensitivities involved, would even a Jagan Mohan Reddy have allowed willfully something like this to happen?
See, the buck obviously stops at the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam board. It is their job to ensure, the vigilance committee, the entire members and the administrative staff, to ensure that good quality ghee and other raw material, be it sugar, be it cashew, be it cardamom, everything was supplied for the manufacture, for the making of these laddus. Please remember, for the Nevidyam, which is the offering made to the Lord, it is the ghee from the Gaushalas which is supplied. So that is separate. This ghee is not used for preparing the Nevidyam which is offered to the Lord every day. But having said that, I think what is needed now is probably a cross-checking by 2-3 more established labs in the country to see whether what the NDDB lab, of course a very credible one, but to ensure that the veracity of it, the veracity of the findings, because they are extremely shocking and they have shocked so many devout Hindus across the globe. So it's necessary that a commission of inquiry get it checked by at least a couple of more established labs to ensure that whether the findings were correct, and if the findings were correct, whether it was only confined to a particular firm which was supplying the ghee at that point in time.
But the question comes whether the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, whether you believe that the system will therefore have to be changed of appointments, of the way people, of the way the board conducts itself, given the riches involved, given the sensitivities involved. Would this also be a moment, therefore, to look at the functioning not just of this board, but possibly other temple boards across the country?
More than the functioning, the kind of people who are appointed to the board, because right now it is people who have some kind of political backing who get appointed to the board. So who are the 23, 24 people who are chosen, including the chairperson who are chosen by Chandrababu Naidu, will have to be people of high caliber and ensure that they would not do anything. They would in fact do everything to ensure nothing hanky-panky happens at the Tirumala Tirupati temple, because it's not just the richest temple. It's a temple which has a lot of faith from people across the globe. It's not just people from South India or only from the 2 Telugu speaking states. So that has to be ensured. And this particular moment where some kind of adulterated or animal fat is reported to have been found could well be a wake-up call for the TTD and the Andhra Pradesh government.
A wake-up call for the TTD and the Andhra Pradesh government, and also, of course, part of a political battle. But on this show, at least, YSRCP's representative has said they are open to a judicial inquiry or a CBI inquiry. And the Telugu Desam representative is insisting that there is much that the previous YSRCP government has to answer for. This is what happens when issues of faith play out like this in the political domain. Expect public sensitivities to remain high, which is why it needs to be handled with caution and care. I appreciate all my guests joining me here on my big talking point. Thank you all very much for joining me on the show.